Hi. Had trouble getting in.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, how is everyone?
Hi.
Good. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Well, we have enough folks for a quorum, so that's great. Jen can't be here, and Sarah can't be here. So, Holly, thanks for all your extra work.
It's not easy to do from a phone versus my computer. I was struggling that day. We are recording, by the way, just so you know. For some reason, I couldn't just, it just popped on.
Okay.
I don't know what happened. I think everything was a little off this time.
Okay, great. Well, we'll go ahead and get started.
Congratulations, Maurice. I see the driver's license thing went through.
Yes, thank you. Yep. Now we're waiting for the governor to decide what he's gonna do. So
Mhm. But nice job. You got over one more hurdle, right?
Yeah,
Great.
absolutely. Well done.
big victory for us. Thank you.
Mhm.
All right, this is the Human Rights Commission. We're having a remote meeting today on May 23rd, 2022. It is 5:31 p.m. This meeting is recorded by video and audio in accordance with the state open meeting law. Consistent with the governor's order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, this meeting will be conducted by remote participation. Additionally, all votes taken by the Gloucester Human Rights Commission during this and future remote meetings will be by roll call vote. If you're calling in on a phone, you can press *9 to request to speak. If you're watching on a computer or a device, there's a raise hand button that you can tap or press to request to speak. Please use either of these options during oral communications to be recognized to speak. And we'll go ahead and call to order. We have myself, Hannah Kimberly, Tony Borch is here. Paul Wasserman is here. And Mayoza Alves is here. And we also are joined by, here comes Ms. Shane McCaffrey. Ms. Shane McCaffrey is here. Hi. And
Hello.
hi, we also have Holly with us. Holly Dugwillow. Okay, so do we want to review and approve the minutes from April 25th? Thank you, Tony, for doing that.
I move that we approve the minutes as presented.
Okay, Tony will second that. I'm having trouble hearing you, Tony, for some reason.
Yeah, it's not.
Still can't hear you. I don't know why. So now you've just muted yourself and try unmuting again. No, we still can't hear you.
If you look at your volume, usually by the
Oh, yeah.
microphone, there's like a little arrow that shows you what is being utilized for your.
Tony, did you allow it to use your speaker? I don't know why I'm asking you questions, actually, Tony, because I can't hear your answers.
It's the right thing to do.
Tony, do you want to log out and try to come back in?
Do you see the little arrow next to your mute button down in the left-hand corner? At the bottom of the screen, there's a microphone. There's a little arrow there. If you click on the arrow, see it right next to the mute button, click on it. It gives you, you hit audio settings and then.
No, my iPad, it's up on the top. So I'm sure it varies. While we're waiting, Hannah, would you mind if someone else took the minutes? Okay, that'd be great. Thank you.
We just need someone to volunteer to do it.
And
Tony will do it.
I haven't gotten the minutes for quite a while. We don't have any minutes posted unless somebody else is actually posting them on the website.
Yeah, I was posting them.
Oh,
I
you
think
were?
so.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah,
Okay,
Yeah,
perfect,
they're on there. Yes.
perfect.
I don't know what to do, Tony. Maybe try to go out and come back in, or if you click on the microphone and then go to audio settings. There's another thing by the microphone too, Tony, that says select a microphone. Maybe try same as system.
Yeah, also under more, you can maybe check on webinar settings.
Okay. Maybe Tony, try to hop off and then come back on. Okay. While Tony's doing that, did everyone see this ability resolution revision? Okay. Holly, do I need to, I guess, should I just read that out loud?
I would, yeah.
Okay.
Unless you want to share your screen.
That's a great idea. Okay, here's that. Oh, can you enable me to do that, Holly?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
I had to get a brand new laptop. Mine died, so I'm still learning.
All right, here we go with the revised civility resolution. So we've made some changes, and as Jason Grove had said, it has some more teeth. And we added in these things in number 6. And added this in regarding discrimination and human rights. We'll forward them to the city administration if necessary, the proper legal authorities to investigate and resolve. So that's the major sort of addition. Like that. Do we have any other thoughts?
Yeah, I was wondering about number 8.
Mhm.
I mean, it's a little confusing to me because not all things, issues, or people that might come before our commission would necessarily have broken a law. As a matter of fact, some might be complainants who are counting on their anonymity and confidentiality. So
This is for the city council to sign.
yeah.
Okay,
But
gotcha.
but who, so does this apply? I'm still confused about why that's in there and how that fits.
When I read that, I think that, for example, if someone came to us and they say that they feel like they were a victim of a hate crime, we would then obviously communicate that to the police department. And I read that line as like, they're going to take it seriously and investigate. And I think that that line just lets people know that like we're willing to kind of act on your behalf and kind of be your support and advocate for you, but we're not necessarily like turning someone in if they're like complaining about something. We're just letting people, the authorities, know that this is something that is happening, and then they will do what they need to do moving forward. Like we're not going to be pulling a claim, but we're going to be communicating with people who will take the charge seriously and want to investigate. Unless I'm interpreting that incorrectly.
No, that's exactly what it was for.
Mhm.
Okay. Right. Thank you, Michelle.
So are we pleased with the civility resolution? And can we
Okay.
forward it to city council?
Do we have to have a motion?
Yep. You want to make it, Paul?
Yeah. I move that we send the revised draft of May 22 to the city council with our approval.
Second.
Great. And we'll vote on that. I'm a yes. Mayuza,
Yes.
Michelle,
Yes.
and Paul.
Yes.
Great.
And me.
Sorry, Tony, I didn't see you on the screen. And Tony. Okay, great. So all in favor? We have.
Aye.
Great. Okay, wonderful. Thank you. Right, our next item on the agenda is the ordinance revision draft. Let me pull that up as well. This is what Jason Groh so far has pounded out as we asked him to do. I will share this with you. So these were the things that Mayor Berga had suggested as well.
Okay.
Does anyone have any comments?
No.
Are there any other changes anyone wants to make?
And this is of course, this is also part of why I suppose that the request for review and revisions of, the entire ordinance that I know that Holly mentioned at our meeting last month that probably there's going to be a switch over because the city is one lawyer has left and another one is, I don't know if that person has even started yet. Has the new lawyer just started? So there's a lot to go through.
Right.
Holly, do you know if the new lawyer has begun?
Yes, she started Monday. Today was her
Oh,
first day.
So she's got a lot to review. So
What to do?
So do we want to, because Tony, you had asked a bunch of questions about the ordinance, correct?
right, and I had emailed them to the mayor, and he had forwarded it to the lawyer, but as when we talked about it last meeting, Holly said that there had the current, the one left and there was a new one starting, which of course you said just started today,
Mhm.
and that there would probably be a little bit of a delay because of the changeover. And plus now the new person has to kind of start to catch up and review everything. So
Okay, so we'll just put this on the back burner for now, yeah? We don't need to vote on what I just showed you. We might have more changes.
Well, I didn't make those specific, I don't think in regards to recalling, yeah, you know, in the questions regarding this section of the ordinance, that was not something that I did. So I think that this probably can be added to, as, you know, to the, you know, to what was sent with the questions about, you know, the changes or the revisions for the ordinance.
Okay, all right, so let's just not vote on that and hold
Mhm.
off. Okay,
I thought the changes that you were looking at to vote on were changes as far as what your board is able to handle, not the makeup of the board. Did I see the whole, did the whole ordinance change? Was that up there?
no,
No.
that's all we have so far.
That's
Okay,
all-
so
yeah.
that's just changing the makeup of how many people are in,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, that looked fine, but I think I thought the change we wanted to bring to our attorney was the change as far as what this board is capable of handling.
Right.
And doing. Okay.
Yeah, that is correct.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're just waiting on the new attorney
Yeah.
to respond. Okay, all right, great.
Cool. Is
Paul, were you
anyone,
gonna say
excuse
something?
me, is anyone else having a problem with the video? For some reason, I'm only seeing photographs, but nothing live. I can hear it live, but I'm not seeing it live.
Mm-mm. No,
Can you see me?
yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Number 5, we're also going to skip because Sarah is also waiting on the new attorney. So once she hears from her, what is the name, Holly? Do you know of the
Yeah.
new
Yes.
attorney?
Suzanne Egan.
Okay, thank you. Just for my records. This is going to be maybe a quick meeting. Wow. Okay. We also have non-discrimination opening at city meetings. Did you all see the email that a constituent sent in?
Yeah.
Okay. So I had talked to Val Gilman, who's the head of the city council, about that as well. And she asked if we could, as well as the constituent, come up with some sort of language just to say at the top of their meetings, kind of like the whole Star Press 9 spiel that I have to give at the beginning of every meeting. And I just sort of ripped this and added onto it, and I will share it with you now. I didn't share it with you ahead of time, so I'll read it aloud. It says, "It is the finding of the city of Gloucester that no individual should be denied equal treatment or opportunity because of their age, ancestry, color, disability, including intellectual and developmental disability, family status, immigration status, gender identity or expression, military status, marital status, national origin, race, religion, sex, or sexual orientation. In this vein, we as city councilors do not condone language that is discriminatory or offensive and will not accept it at city meetings."
Well, I think that's all well and good, but however, from, you know, the reading of the emails, the person was concerned that there was nothing done to kind of stop the discriminatory language or the implied language. And
Exactly.
so you can read this, but it's like, I think she, you know, what she was asking is that I didn't understand why either city council did not stop, you
Right.
know, and hold off on in making that statement. And so I think it's all well and good to read this statement. However, it's still the responsibility of who, you know, those running the meetings, that when somebody is coming up with, you know, discriminatory language, non-derogatory language, that they need to stop and make that, you know, saying, you know, we can't allow this kind of discussion or this kind of language to be used.
100%, Tony. That's why I have this.
Yeah,
Not condone language that is discriminatory or offensive and will not accept it.
Right, but at the same time, you don't just read that, you must take action when it's
Yes.
happening.
Okay, so do you want to add in a line?
Like if there are consequences or something like that, I don't
Well,
understand, because
well,
you, at the
I
end of
mean-
the day, like you can't force someone to speak up.
Well,
No, but I think, but if, to me, if you're having a meeting and, when somebody says, oh, well, we don't want, the housing, we don't want to become a slum like Dorchester. Well, with the implication about who lives in Dorchester, and again, the woman who wrote the email said she herself was not at the meeting to hear what the language was being used.
Right.
What kind of, charged language. And so when we start to hear charged language, that, that it's either, who's running the meeting should say, what, we want to listen to you. We want to hear what your points are. However, you need to, you have to be careful about the language that you're using because, it has an impact. It implies, bias or implies a discrimination, which, so that's, to me, is that if we're not stopping somebody from speaking. However, if, they are making derogatory racist remarks, I think they should be called on it.
well,
Exactly.
I think the final phrase there, and will not accept it at city meetings, implies that, I mean, it's not simply a kind of a statement to precede a meeting, but also one that would require, I think, not accept this, to me is basically claim, if somebody spoke that way and I was on the city council, I would say, that's not acceptable. You will, you know, you will have to stand down or, revise your narrative. But
So-
yeah, I'm not sure about how much guidance we need to give there. I'm just thinking out loud.
Yeah, and well, and also sometimes people aren't aware of the charged language, so it's almost in some ways that there could, what kind of training do, members of the city council or members of other boards and commissions have in regards to one, handling that, often people aren't, even you're running a meeting in regards to kind of saying to somebody, oh, the language that you're using, may feel uncomfortable saying that. However, as a, we're responsible, we have this, as representing, that we need to do that. And again, I'm wondering, as we're talking about, trains, what, having a training or a discussion, with, starting off with the city council and then other members of board. So, because this is not going to stop,
Right, but
Well,
I guess
yeah,
this is what the city councilor was asking of us, Tony.
Right. I understand, but I think at the same time for us to say, okay, they've asked us to do that, but what kind of tools can we give them to
Mhm.
train to, because when this happens, and the whole zoning thing hasn't died.
No,
And so this is going to be, continue. And so what kind of training you have this, which is great, but if it doesn't, it can be read, but then nothing is done in the meetings, then it almost becomes, it's like a mute point.
right.
Well,
Oh, could we,
maybe in conveying this, and we'll probably have to make a motion on it. We can suggest that if they would like some help in in getting some training about what kinds of language is likely to be, or might possibly be offensive, we'd be glad to facilitate in some way.
Okay,
that was
Holly,
along the lines of what I was going to say. And then also, if I know that part of it is like when you hear something, you don't necessarily know what to say. So if it was like, I'm sorry, the language you just used is not condoned in this in this format, in this forum, either you need to rephrase it a different way, or we're going to move on to the next person. I
Mhm.
think that like just a blanket statement that we can give
Mm.
them that kind of like
Yeah.
addressing it right there, because 90% of the time, I feel like people know if something's offensive. They just don't necessarily want to confront the person saying the offensive thing. So I don't think they necessarily need guidance in what is offensive. They might just need some tools or some phrases to address the offensive statement. So I'd heard you say something that's not condoned in this forum. Either you ask it a different way, or we're going to move on to the next person.
Yeah. I mean, there are, I think, subtleties that might not, might not even be considered by the speaker to be offensive at all. That that aren't intended to be, but let's say, as I think is often the case these days, someone who's kind of operating out of acceptable language from the 50s or 60s really does not understand that calling a woman a girl might be offensive. That's just one example that comes to mind.
Mhm.
Holly?
Yeah, Hannah, when we first went remote, were you pulled into a training? Because it was my understanding that there was a training conducted by the general counsel and I believe somebody from the city council. They went through Robert's Rules of Order and what you can do if you have somebody who is offensive or out of line, as
Mhm.
far as having them stop talking or muting them. I don't know if that continues every year, but there definitely has been some training, and I thought the chairs were invited to it. And it could have been, well, it would have been 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago when we went remote. So that might be something you could ask the administration about as a reminder. But
Hmm.
definitely they did address it. And there was a lot of talk about Robert's Rules of Orders and when can the person running the meeting step in and mute somebody or move
Yeah.
on or ask them to move on.
Yeah, and that definitely is, as I remember, covered by Robert's rules. Yeah.
Well, and I think it probably might be useful to think about having that training again, because you got new members of the city council. And you got
Mhm.
also new members that are on boards and commissions that would have not had the opportunity to go through that training.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think the bigger boards probably have had the training, but maybe
And it
they're coming through.
doesn't hurt to be, to go through the training again.
Mhm.
Okay. So I can ask about that. Just type that down. So for this, are we comfortable to vote on this and then send it on?
I'm comfortable with that language.
Yeah.
Okay. Someone want
But
to,
just as long as they know that saying it is important, but they also have to follow through with it.
yeah, I think like you said too, this is a tool.
Mhm.
Say, as we said at the top of the meeting, we don't condone this and we're not accepting it,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
That's
It's
what you
also-
can say when you don't know what to say.
Yep.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's also, and I mean, I think hopefully we've addressed this elsewhere, in our comments on civility draft, is that there are acceptable and unacceptable ways of a council member doing just that. That needs to always be respectful. And hopefully that's understood.
Well, and before we move on, one thing I attended yesterday's Gloucester 400th language matters, conversations. And one of the big points, and I'm also on that commission, the committee, the Diversity and Equity Inclusion Committee, is that Miranda Ainsley, who's the chair, she, she brought up on the screen, like the change of language. For example, we looked at where we said slaves, and now we, why we use the term, explain the term, why we use now enslaved people. And understanding like who, when you say slaves, it takes away from recognizing that there are people. Instead of using, explorers, we look at, colonialist, and so I'm wondering also now, and Paul, you mentioned where people, not realizing, depending on, where they grew up, in regards to change of language, instead of calling women girls, is that whether or not we would like to think about compiling a list of language that, in terms that really should be used now, that, because people may not be aware of that. Is it part of it, it's just more information for members of boards in the council.
And I mean, if it's a good list, we might consider putting it up on our website. Is the one that Gloucester 400 Plus uses something that we can modify? And
Oh, sure. I'll send, you know what, I'm not quite sure if I sent the framework to you, Hannah. I'll send that to Hannah. And in the framework, it has a beautiful, great list of terms, and listing from what was before and now, like, and with the explanation as to why these terms and phrases are, why the need for change,
yeah,
and because of what they have implied, or how to those people whose terms that are associated with.
yeah. Oh,
Great.
that sounds good. Very good.
Thank you, Tony. Okay, does someone want to make a motion to send this on to council?
I'll make a motion that we send the non-discrimination statement opener for the city council on to the city council.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And we'll roll call vote. For Hannah, yes. Michelle,
Yes.
Tony,
Yes.
Mayuza, and Paul.
Yes.
Okay, so all in favor. All right. Great. Let's see. Oh, Tony, your banned books update.
Yes, I've been, I did get, let's see. I got it, I've been, emailing back and forth with the librarian. And what she did send me is that the librarian has a process where if someone,
Hold on one second, Tony. Michelle, will you mute yourself? Sorry, that's okay. Okay, thanks, Tony.
the library has a, somebody comes in and asks that they would like to have this book pulled from the library shelf, is that they have a process where a person fills out this form. It's called Request for Reconsideration of Library Materials, and explains why they're concerned, and have you read it, and do you have a suggestion for another work? And then it goes to, and I'm gonna send this on board to you, Hannah, and it says that they request, and the form is reviewed by the director of the library, and it notifies the users who made the request. And if the decision can be appealed, if they decide that the book is going to continue to remain on the shelves, that they have a right to, appeal it, and they have 30 days, within 30 days of the date of the decision. Now, interestingly enough, they revised this, in March of this year of what was going on. So they made the revisions. So I think this is a great it's a great process. It allows people who have concerns and would like to have a book removed, and they have the process to do so. If they disagree with the decision, they also have the process of for appealing. She also included the whole like library bill of rights from the, you know, the American Library Association. So, and freedom to view statement. So there's a lot of great information. So the process is there. If somebody has concerns, and the review is there. So she did not say they, at this point in time, have not had any requests to remove any books or other materials.
If we received some kind of comment from a member of the public about that, are you suggesting we refer them to the association, or
To-
that would be the best way for us to handle that?
If somebody, well, if they had asked, you know, there's if they want a book removed from the library, that they would, you know, we would refer to them to the librarian to fill out the process.
All right.
Yeah. So I think that, you know, that was good.
Mhm.
Tony, do you
Tony.
know who makes the decision in the schools if books are banned?
No, you know, and I do need to have the follow-up, you know, in regards to, I did get, you know, when I had sent the email to the superintendent about, you know, any questions about, you know, critical race theory. And he gave the response where, you know, again, where the few inquiries that he has, you know, letting them know that that is something that is really taught in higher education and is not taught in there. So I do need to follow up with him about specific, if he's been requested to have specific books be banned from the school libraries.
But if a book is banned at, say, the Sawyer Free Library, it doesn't necessarily mean it, that they don't carry that through to the schools. And if the book's in another school,
It would be,
they're individual. The libraries are individual.
yeah, there's an individual institution. Yeah.
Good. Okay. Thanks so much, Tony, for doing that work for us. The last thing that is on the agenda, which you don't see on the agenda because I just added it on after my meeting with Michelle on Wednesday. I will share my screen. Did I share the Juneteenth as an attachment with you all?
Yes.
Okay, so that is the work that Michelle and I did together on Wednesday. And it is basically meant to be an education pamphlet that will be used for during the Juneteenth celebration. What are your thoughts?
I thought it was great. It was very comprehensive. And it was very, you know, so that written for the general public, you know, because you can write a lot of things, but you want people just in the general public to, you know, recognize it's not just, you know, this high academic piece.
Great, yeah, good. Tony Armstrong responded and said that they're going to do a large print for all the things that they're passing out and that she could include it in their order. So that's good, yeah. Any other thoughts?
Will any of the events, I remember it was a pretty extensive list, if I remember correctly. Will any of those be Zoomed?
My understanding is that everything's going to be in person at the location. I don't think they have any plans as of right now to Zoom anything, but I can see.
It's going to be outside, right, Michelle?
Yeah,
Mhm.
it might be difficult since it's going to be outside.
Yeah. I know that Cam has like a little section that is inside, but I think they were planning just to have everything be in person and at the location. I don't think they have a plan in place to Zoom anything.
Okay.
Are there any questions on the pamphlet? Or is everyone happy with it?
Any questions you'd like to add? We tried to cover everything, but you know, it's always good to get other input.
You know, it's funny, when I read the first question about race, I had, you know, in my classes this semester, we wrote this woman, can't remember her first name, but Sani, she had wrote from the National Geographic about that race is a concept, not biological.
Mhm.
And they really, really like, and it was so well written. And explaining the process of how race has become viewed as biological.
Yeah, definitely.
We all breathe the same way. Our hearts all beat the same way.
But it also serves a variety of political and cultural interests,
Yes.
which is I think the most unfortunate part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was used to bucket people.
Yeah.
A
provided
sorting hat of which.
Yeah.
All right. Let's want to put forth a motion? Anybody? To adopt this as what we will be sending to Tony and the folks at CAM and the Juneteenth organizers?
I so move.
Okay, I'm taking that as Ms. Shea seconding it.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, and we'll go ahead and do a roll call vote. Hannah, yes. Paul,
Yes,
Mayuza,
Yes,
Michelle,
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
Okay. And if there's no more discussion, we have a unanimous acceptance. Great. So
Good.
Michelle-
Hannah, could you please resend that as well?
resend the Juneteenth pamphlet?
Yeah,
Okay. Do you want all the things that I attached resent?
I think so, if
Okay.
possible.
Sure.
I tried to print things out, and some things didn't come out, so I'd like to
Okay,
just be
yeah.
able to read.
Absolutely. What was I going to say? Oh, Michelle, am I sending that or are you sending that to Tony?
Oh, I can send it to Tony.
Okay, great. Thank you. Awesome. Michelle will send.
Let me start to write that right now so I don't forget.
That's why I'm putting your name by it right now. So when I get back to look, I'll say, wait a minute, was I supposed to do that? Oh, goodness. Is there anything else that anyone wants to add?
Well, I do. I think that it's important. I think I would like to have us issue a statement about the Buffalo racial shootings. I think it's important for us as the Human Rights Commission, when these horrible hate crimes come, that we need to issue a statement in regards to how horrible, and that and that we need to, in regards to that the racial climate in this country. And so that, I think that would be, and I'm not quite sure how we can go about that, but I do think it's not, and not just have it posted on our website, because I think a lot of people, again, we know there's a lot of people don't use the website. They don't know how to use it, or they just don't. And I don't know whether or not, is it something that we could, I mean, like, again, letter to the editor that puts in the times. I think that's, in what the process is for us to be, I know it will probably have to go through the lawyer. And some of that is like in the timeliness, but that's what I would like to do, is I would like to see us issue a statement about the racial killings in Buffalo.
There are already 2 examples of that on our website. And, I think anybody clicking on the website will see those. So maybe a good start would be to take a look at those and then draft some, similar language
Mhm.
about this latest event.
Okay. So who wants to do that?
I'll do it since I raised it.
Great. And then do you want to, I guess, bring that to our next meeting, Tony?
Yes. Mhm.
Okay. Thank you, Tony. Great. All right. Any other
We have 2 participants. Do we want to open it up to see if they've got anything to,
Oh, you can see participants.
I mean, attendees?
Sure. Do we, how do you see? I don't even know how you see that.
It's like panelists and then attendees. And I don't know.
So-
I've got.
At the bottom, you see the participant button with the people on. If you click on that, they should open up.
Mhm.
One side has your panelists,
Oh, I
Oh,
see.
yeah.
and you click on to the attendees.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay,
Dave and Patty Page. I
Yep.
have.
okay. Dave or Patty Page, do you all have any questions? No raised hands? Holly?
No.
No
let me
raised
see.
hands.
Okay,
Okay.
thanks for pointing that out, Michelle.
Everyone can come and speak if they so
Abs-
choose to.
Absolutely.
Oh, I think Mayosa wants to say something.
Yes,
Mayuta,
yeah, I just want to update on a driver's license bill.
yes,
So it passed in the Senate, and now I spoke with the people from ACLU this morning. With the governor, the bill is not with the governor yet, but they hoping to be at the end of the week, like at the governor's office. And then he have 10 days to veto or make some amendments and send it back. So for now, we passed. It's a big victory for immigrants, and hopefully we're gonna get everything said and done, sign up on July 31st. So July 1st next year, everyone is gonna be able to have a driver's license.
Nice.
Very
that's
good.
amazing. Thank you
That's
for your hard work.
amazing.
Mayuta.
Yes.
So July 2023, are we talking, or?
Yes, July 1st, 2020. Yeah, but for
Yep.
that, have to be signed it by the end of July 31st this
Oh,
year.
okay, so, yeah.
So it's,
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Very well.
It's been a
done.
long road.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Mayosa has done a lot of work.
I know. My goodness.
So,
Get it over the finish line.
yeah.
Yeah. Well worth the effort.
tomorrow we're gonna be interviewed by 1623.
Uh-huh.
So we're gonna be talk a little more about it. And Senator Ty actually called me the day before, and we had a good conversation, but unfortunately, not enough time for try to convince him to support it. But that's all right.
Hmm.
So thank you.
You've got lots of other support.
Yeah.
Great. I have one more thing. I don't know if anyone realizes that on the state flag, which had, if we look at our state flag, which has the Native American where the under, underneath right underneath the sword, and and there's the saying about to live by the sword or die by the sword. Well, and there was a commission to review the flag, and the commission has approved that the state, our Commonwealth flag will be changed, will remove the offensive image of the Native American and the offensive language. So there will be a new state flag. I think now they'll be in the process of, I think they're looking at, designs and all that there, which is great because it's funny, a couple of years ago, I had my students, we did a argument piece about whether or not the Massachusetts state flag should be changed, should become new. And one thing we found out is that now that we were the last state to have any kind of offensive things on the flag, because I think Mississippi, which was the last state to have the Confederate flag on their state flag, had removed it. And then Massachusetts was the lone outlying state to have offensive images on the state flag. So I think that's great.
Oh, I will say hallelujah.
Yeah.
What's your job?
Michelle, someone's asking someone what their job is right now.
My microphone's just too good. You hear my family in the background.
What is your job? I don't
Hmm.
know, says the little one.
Yeah,
That's awesome. Okay, anything else? Wonderful. Do we want to move to adjourn the meeting?
I move that we adjourn the meeting.
I second.
Great, and we'll go out on roll call. Hannah Kimberly, Paul Wasserman,
Yes,
Myoza Alves, Ms. Shay McCaffrey,
Yes.
and Tony Borge.
Yes.
Great. Thanks again, Holly, for everything.
Sure.
And then when are we meeting again? We're meeting,
We meet again on June. Let's see. 27th. June
June.
27th. Okay. Great. All right. So we will adjourn. Thanks so much, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
yep.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye-bye.